Welcome back to the Conspiracy Outpost Phantom Plates Part 2. I am your host, Casey.
And I'm Joe.
And today we got a few more topics for you in the spooky realm. So we're going to go all the way down to old New Orleans. We're going to be talking about Brennan's Restaurant. This is this place is famous for the ghost of the former owner. God, I can't talk. Owen Brennan, and then there's other spirits there as well. Brennan's is haunted, unlike most haunted sites in the city. However, the restaurant isn't haunted only by angry, vengeful, or tragic ghouls. In addition to at least one creepy spirit, one peaceful spirit, and a helpful presence also calls the restaurant home. This place was voted number 2 in 2006 as the top 10 haunted restaurants in New Orleans. And I didn't know there was a hot top 10 list of New Orleans, but a couple of my places actually are in there, so it's gonna be cool. And it doesn't surprise me that there'd be a lot of ghost activity, even if like specified to the restaurant. But there's been a lot of death in New Orleans too, with the hurricane and stuff. So I'm sure there are some souls just floating about.
Every time I think of New Orleans, I always think of fucking baked chips. Or not baked, fuck. Kettle chips. I don't know why. There's a couple different New Orleans kettle chip brands.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, there's, I think they're New Orleans. Those, I don't even remember what the brand's called. They're good though. They're really vinegary. Zaps. That's what it is. It's Zaps. It's a really good brand of chips. They,
Zaps.
yeah, we sold them at my store for a little bit. They're pretty good.
Oh,
I've
nice.
never had this Creole onion one. That one looks good. But yeah, they have this the Cajun dill ones, which are gator taters, is what they're called. I guess I don't really care for those. That's too much vinegar on vinegar. But they had these. I'm trying to find the hot ones they had, which are pretty good. I didn't know they had barbecue ones too. Craw tater chips. Damn, they got a whole bunch of fucking. I'm sorry, I'm turning this about chips.
But across three, oh, it was my fault. My kid interrupted. Across 3 centuries of life, New Orleans has enjoyed several cultural identities, mainly through the city has been associated with the French and Spanish, and because of this association, Owen Edward Brennan, the patriarch of the Brennan family, was mocked for his Irish heritage. Cunts. Count Arnaud, an New Orleans restaurateur, once told Brennan that as an Irishman, that an Irishman's culinary skills ends with boiled potatoes. So Brennan was out to prove that he was just stereotyping Irish people and that he was wrong. So in 1946, he did just that. He opened Owens Brennan's Vixu Carre Carre restaurant on Bourbon Street. Brennan's restaurant was where the famous New Orleans Desert Bananas Foster was. Oh wait, that's where the famous New Orleans dessert. Sorry, I can't talk. Brennan's Foster was invented by Chef Paul Blejonc. I don't know how to say his last name.
Blejongue.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Another
just
local
want the DJ
tradition
accent.
started. Another local tradition started at this restaurant as well was the breakfast at Brennan's, which showcases one of the largest breakfast menus in the city. And when he passed in 1956, the restaurant moved to its present location on Royal Street, and it's the Big Pink Building on Royal Street, which was constructed in 1795 by Vincent Rillieux. I don't know, these guys have some intense last names. Grandfather of the renowned artist Edgar
Oh, it's
Degas.
Degrassi,
The
and it
building
was
was
the show that Drake was on. Just kidding.
The building has also been the site of Louisiana State Bank and home to President Andrew Jackson in 2013. The building uh, underwent some major restoration, unearthing, among other things, like a hidden door. So that was just a little background on the restaurant
What was the
itself.
hidden door?
So we'll get it. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know what was behind the hidden
Was
door.
that
I don't
was
remember.
it where they kept all the children, like in Pizzagate?
Yeah,
I think we should. I think we should.
I'm releasing it.
Oh, you're just gonna release it? I say fuck it
Yeah,
because
raw and uncut.
yeah. I mean, there might be a few edits here and there, but I think I think that Pizzagate is fine. I don't know. Maybe I think I might have been a little too sensitive about some of the jokes that were put in there. Why not? Let's just go full on.
I'll do it on the. I'll release it on the day of the presidential
Yeah,
elections.
yeah, fuck it. Let's do the Yeah, that's perfect actually. A presidential pod special or something has nothing to do with the president. Like shit now. That'll work.
uh, the first ghost that we're going to talk about is the ghost of Chef Paul
I thought
Blanche.
you were gonna say Boyardee.
Chef
That's a famous
Boyardee.
French one.
Fun fact: that Chef Boyardee actually did come out of this restaurant.
Oh,
So
really? Oh,
no,
okay. I
but
was
that'd be
gonna say-
hilarious.
no, yeah, well, no, he didn't. Like, that's not where it was invented. He came out like he was gay, but it's not like how you think. It was not all like fucking empowering and everything. It was more on a Kevin Spacey type fucking level. He was actually molesting young. Oh, I thought my microphone cut out. Oh, okay. He was molesting bus boys and he got caught, and so he had to come out as gay to try to distract them. He tried to pull Kevin Spacey. It didn't work out too well. So, yeah.
So this chef, he created most of the restaurant's menu. Um, his culinary creativity made him admired among chefs. He was even buried with Brennan's menu, knife, and fork across his chest.
Was his arms in an X
Um,
fashion?
that's not like he's just
Yeah,
holding
just
these
like
12 like
holding him
this.
like buried like a mummy or whatever. Like a
Yeah,
pharaoh would be buried, arms across the chest.
yeah, with the little
But he's
yeah,
got him in his hands like there's fucking like he's in arms for combat or some shit.
yeah. But they say that his loyalty extends beyond the grave. The restaurant staff said that the chef never leaves the kitchen despite his death in 1977. Every night, his ghost signals the end of the shift by banging pots and pans in an almost celebratory manner. This nightly noise is unlikely to be the work of a prankster in the kitchen, as the sound is heard while the restaurant doors are being locked from the outside.
There's even barely legal busboys who still complain about getting a finger in the taint when they bend over to lift dishes in the middle of the day. Oh, wait, that's not Chef Boyardee we're talking about.
They say if you're looking to spot the ghosts, you can sometimes be seen in dining rooms by the front door. Your best chance at summoning him, however, is by ordering Bananas Foster's. That was his signature disc. While the bananas are aflame at your table, look around for the chef's translucent ghost. His ghost sometimes appears in other forms, like a brief sparkle or a heat wave like distortion of a man in a chef's hat. That'd be pretty cool though. Like you just got some shit going on and then you just look off to the side.
start a re- um,
Man.
Start a reality show like Hell's Kitchen, but it's with a ghost. It'd be a literal Hell's Kitchen. Well, it'd be more like a Purgatory's Kitchen. Fucking ghost teaching you how to cook. Yes, chef. I
Do you,
haven't tasted
do you
meat
imagine?
this bad since, or no, I haven't seen meat that looked this raw since my rotting corpse. I don't know.
Okay, so the next ghost of Herman Funk. Herman Funk was a wine steward who helped the restaurant's extraordinary selection of wines and spirits. Now lives in the wine cellar. His ghost helps the waitstaff decide what suggestions and pairings they should do. To indicate his picks, Funk's ghost clinks on the preferred bottles.
So they just
Uh,
wait for a tapping every time. Wait, hold on. Which cheese goes with that? And then you just hear a macaroni noise. Ah, dude. Oh, I think he's choosing the Swiss. No, he's fucking that one. He's saying fuck that. Let's go with that one over there. It's light tapping. He's a bit of a trickster, this one.
they the next one is it's actually a room. It's called the Red Room. It's upstairs, and I looked at a picture of this place. It looked pretty creepy looking. It was just, like literally red painted walls and just candle lit. It looks super old school. But and the hold on, I got a cough.
Cough break. Some people take
Um,
coffee breaks. Some of us take smoker cough breaks. I'm just kidding. I know you don't smoke uh, cigarettes.
so there's a ghost up in the Red
That's
Room,
a different story.
Monsieur Lefleur. His spirit has dwelled in the Red Room and is undoubtedly the darkest and most haunted part of Brennan's. Its blood red walls have seen much horror. According to an 18th century legend, one fateful morning, Monsieur Lefleur calmly calmly uh, planned three funerals later that day. He came home. He killed his wife, son, and then killed himself by hanging himself in the chandelier in the center of the Red Room. Prior to the restaurant's renovations in 2013-14, the painted portraits of Lafleur's uh, were on the room of the Lafleurs were on the room's walls. So they had the father, the son, and the wife on the
Oh, I thought you were
wall.
gonna say the Holy
Um,
Spirit. The third one. The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
the the room was the site of an eerie phenomenon. No matter what time of day or the weather conditions outside, the restaurants could feel a cold spot over the fireplace with their bare hands. This cold spot didn't just feel chilly, but cold is like reaching into a freezer. On the walls, the portraits of Monsieur Lefleur appeared to change his expression. You could look away from the portrait one moment and look back to see a slightly different expression. They called it the Lefleur smile, and it usually shifted into a grimace.
Like the McDonald's grimace, or
Yeah,
it shifted into a giant purple fucking turd in the corner of the room.
I always thought he looked like a
I
butt
was
plug.
gonna say we're butt plug, depending on depending on how you were with the fucking. I don't know. Grimace is like a fucking giant purple Rorschach. You see what you want to see in him. Some people see poop. Some people see butt plug. Some people sees their uncle creeping into their room late at night and fondle 'em. Or a giant gumdrop if you want to keep it lighthearted, like the little candies. I hated those things.
There was a paranormal investigator, Fiona Brome, might possible, Brome. She's quoted saying, "As I watched, Monsieur Lefleur's face seemed to change from a pose to vulnerable, or perhaps younger, and then a troubled grimace tightened his lips, and then turned slightly sneering and slightly distasteful. Finally, he looked anguished or perhaps angry, even
I
sinister."
just keep picturing the grimace from McDonald's. Doing this in a corner. This is the wrong franchise. Get out of here.
The the ghost has also been witnessed by the same paranormal investigator. She's seen him as a shadowy figure about 5.5 feet tall, somewhat portly. The ghost disappeared whenever you make direct eye contact with him. After the restaurant's renovation, the second floor dining room seems to have changed significantly. It's apparently now known as the Morphy Room in honor of the chess prodigy Paul Morphy, a former resident of the property. The former Red Room seems to have been broken up to a small parlor and dining area, as opposed to a larger dining room as it used to be. So they basically just redecorated and stuff.
Mhm.
But it is presently unknown if Lafleur's ghost is still actively haunts the restaurant. But usually, the stronger the spirit uh, was and its convictions in life, the stronger the spirit is after death. So, given the atrocity that he killed his family, it's likely that his spirit still persists despite the renovations. There have been a few other sightings as well. There's sightings in the Cantilever room of an old woman peering through the windows. The current owners do not make the feeling any easier by keeping portraits of all three previous owners that have died in the room. There's reports of cold spots, portrait facial changes we talked about, misty
Oh,
fogs,
dude,
feeling of being watched and touched, and even the feeling of being hated.
that's
There's someone's quoted saying, "I've been there. I've seen the ghost myself." This is a waiter at the restaurant said this. For 10 years, the cleaning crew won't go up there at night, but it's a lot of people request that room for dinner, so they just in hopes that they see a ghost, but the staff won't go up there and clean at the end of the night if they do.
there's so many cold spots in these like stories. It's insane. The only
Well, that's a
yeah, like for
common
yeah, it's just like
occurrence.
it's a crazy thing to me. Like it's just I don't know. It's insane that's like one of the typical things when it comes to like fucking spectral sightings. Fucking whatever.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, it got really cold in one spot. I don't know what coldness. I don't know why. It's just a weird thing that relates to ghosts. Is what I don't know. It's weird to me. Why not warm? Yeah, I felt a cold spot in my underwear after I farted. About 30 minutes prior, I was in the elevator and I felt a cold spot in the ass part. Did you check for shit? No, it was a fart. I know that. It wasn't warm enough to be a shit. I don't know. Why did you get a close up just now? You're like, I really want to hear the end of this shit story. I don't know. I was just fucking. No, really, I just thought it's weird that it's always like cold spots when it comes to like ghosts and shit. I guess because cold is it means dead. I guess. Like, how long has the body been here? Well, it's cold, so it's whatever. It's warm, so it hasn't been here that long. Also, when you're saying red room, I was like, doesn't isn't that a sexual thing? But that's red light districts or the red light district, whatever the fuck. I typed in red
Yeah.
room like before I remembered it's red light, and it's saying that there's a urban legend that originated in the late 1990s. The AI overview said this on Google that originated in the late 1990s when an interactive Adobe Flash horror animation was uploaded to GeoCities. The animation tells the story of a boy who dies after seeing a pop up. The legend becomes more well known in 2004 after the murder of a 12-year-old girl by an 11-year-old classmate who was reportedly a fan of the animation. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And every time I think of Adobe Flash, I think of like the Adobe Flash player shit and like the old fucking browser games, like Pyro Sand and fucking Territory Wars. Those are fun games.
Territory Wars was pretty
Yeah,
dope.
I played it like a year ago. They still have like yeah,
Still
they
holds
still
up.
have it. Yeah, it does. It's just it's easier than I remembered. Like, as being a kid, it was like, damn, dude, why can't I get a headshot? I was like, oh, it's really easy. I've never been the best at video games, despite the amount or how many I play.
But that was the end of Brennan's restaurant.
Burning.
Next we have
So, when did a weekend at Bernie's start during that, or were you with Bernie's?
so the next one we're going to talk about is Lafayette's Blacksmith Shop Bar. So this one's another one in New Orleans. It's believed to be haunted by the pirate Jean Lafayette and other spirits. It's one of the oldest buildings in the French Quarter and is also one of the most haunted. this this
It's
blacksmith
black.
shop. I don't know why I keep skipping over it, but this blacksmith shop has a long haunted history, so let's dive on into it, sir. So the shop gets its name obviously from the pirate Jean Lafayette, who was born a pirate and a privateer who called New Orleans a home in the
New
1800s.
Orleans.
Uh, a pirate and a privateer are basically the same thing. A pirate worked for themselves, while a privateer worked for the government. They both looted and robbed and killed, so they're one was just socially acceptable, one wasn't. So
Makes sense. Is that
I
what
didn't know. I didn't know that
Sir
that was the fine line difference between
that
them.
fucking Sir Francis Drake was a fucking that one because did he work for the government? I don't remember. He was by all means a fucking pirate, but I thought he was fucking
Yeah, as long as the government's paying you for it, it's okay.
I can't fucking remember. Um
But he's Lafayette is believed to be either born in France or the French colony of Saint Domingue
okay,
by 18.
I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead.
didn't mean to, before we left that subject. So it says nationalparkservice.gov or wait, www.mps.gov people. Anyways, it says during his time, Sir Francis Drake was known in England as an expert sailor, adventurer, privateer. So yeah,
Yeah.
navigator and war hero. The Spanish, however, viewed him as an illegal trader of enslaved people and a ruthless pirate. So yeah, he was one of those. I just I remembered him being a pirate, but not a pirate. I didn't know that they actually had a term for it, which is funny. Or in One Piece, it's just one of the seven warlords of the
It
sea, or
makes it
whatever the
just
fuck
makes
it
it
is.
sound like they're a mercenary for whatever country's paying them, and every other country just views them as pirates, but they just call themselves. Oh, no, no, no! I'm being paid with my government, man. I'm a
No,
privateer.
dude, I'm a privateer. I ain't no pirate. I I thought he got brought up during that the Queen Elizabeth stuff we were talking about. Queen Elizabeth being a
Maybe,
man. I thought he got brought up during that, but maybe not. He may not have. I might have spiraled out and started reading about him during it, but I don't hold knowledge very well after like a couple after like 2 to 3 weeks. I don't really hold a lot of shit. Some say that's early Alzheimer's. I say I don't remember. I'm just kidding. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
I also been calling this pirate a she for some reason, but it's actually a dude. Um, he operated a warehouse in New
it's
Orleans.
because he took a dick the way only a woman can. Or is that homophobic to say?
Now,
But it's like, what, you saying guys can't take a good dick? No, no, I've seen it, but but in my head, it's the only way I can process it. Like sometimes I go by the name
but
Josephine. Sorry,
no, you're good.
just
Josephina.
yeah.
Um,
Sometimes I go by the name Josephine only when my friends and me go out to Gattaca and get fucking hammered. See, but if I'm Josephine, it isn't considered cheating on my wife. Servicing young men in bathrooms, snorting coke off their lightly fucking fur. That didn't make any sense. Doing coke off their furry assholes.
but he operated a warehouse in New Orleans to help disperse goods smuggled by his brother Pierre Lafayette. After the United States government passed the Embargo Act of 1807, the Lafayettes moved their operations to an island in Bartania Bay, Louisiana. By 1810, their new port was very successful. They pursued a successful smuggling operation and also started to engage in piracy. Uh, Lafayette became a local legend during the War of 1812, and when he helped Andrew Jackson defend the city of New Orleans from the capture of the hands of the British. Today, you'll see many landmarks and buildings in New Orleans brandishing his name. But they say he appears at the shop as a full body apparition, and
Complains about the
full
prices.
body apparition. Yeah, no, they're not like when you see a ghost in a movie or whatever. A full body apparition is someone who like looks exactly like a normal person standing in front of you, you
Oh,
know.
they're not like
But
translucent.
yeah, except the ghost is dressed in olden sailor gear, and
They just
then
thought he was
the
coming back
ghost of
from the
Jean.
what's the equivalent to a Renaissance fair or a Civil War reenactment, but for sailors. They have one of those.
The
Oh,
Seaman
it's
Festival. I don't know.
Seaman Festival. They came back from Seaman Con. Yeah, dude, I got pictures with Johnny Depp, and he ejaculated on my face.
They say that he never speaks a word to anybody. He just simply stands in dark corners in the room staring at people until he's noticed. At at which time his ghost disappears into the shadows, and he's always seen on the not the fourth, on the first floor, most of the time near the fireplace,
Hey,
and on the second
excuse me,
floor.
excuse me, shopkeep. What's that man doing in the corner? He's either a tweaker or a apparition. We get a lot of both. Top, top tier.
That's hella funny. Um, on the second floor of the shop, there's another ghost which calls the bar home. Nobody knows who this ghost is. This is a ghost of a woman. They believe it could have been someone who lived there, but rumor has it that there was a because rumor has it there was a woman who did live there in the 1890s who killed herself upstairs. She's only shown herself to a handful of people on a handful of occasions, but when she does, she is very talkative. They say if you're sitting in one of the rooms upstairs by yourself late at night, you can hear a woman whisper your name into your ear. They say that she probably wants to let you know that she's there and that she knows who you are. That shit would be hella scary. Joseph,
Do you know how annoying?
I'm
It's
here.
just, wait, it was just like whispering and just like very talkative whispering. Joseph, how you doing? Hey, so there's a nice little crab shack right down the road. I heard they sell a killer crab leg. Like, speaking of crab legs, I haven't shaved my legs in months, maybe years, centuries. My God, this is annoying.
There's also reports of cold spots, strange sounds, and even the inexplicable smell of tobacco when nobody is smoking. Glassware has been known to fly off the shelves without any reason, and many patrons have felt the unexplained chill go down their spine. There's also another phenomenon associated with this place called the phantom red eyes. There's never a body, a voice, just piercing red eyes. They are always seen in the dark corners of the bar. As soon as you make eye contact with it, the eyes will freeze on you before fading into nothing. And just a little tidbit, ghosts don't have red eyes. People have the unfortunate habit of putting these two together, but red eyes are a phenomenon reserved to demonic hauntings, not spiritual ones. So,
So it's a demon jerking off in the corner until you catch it and then it fades away. Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
And that was the end of that one. It's a quick little one.
Alrighty then. Let's set our sail. Alright. So now we'll mosey on down to the haunted history of the Stone Lion Inn. Built in 1907 by F.E. Houghton, this historical little piece of Guthrie? I don't know how you say that. Guthrie. Probably Guthrie. I don't know.
Gunther.
Gunther.
No, just kidding.
Well, for the sake of the pod, we're gonna call it Gunther. Gunther, Oklahoma. Um, Gunther, Oklahoma. Oh my God. Okay, so anyways, this motherfucker. I'm already fucking up here. So
What was this place called?
Guthrie. I don't know.
No, not the city. The place we're talking about.
Oh, it's the haunted history of the Stone Line Inn.
Oh, the Stone Lion Inn. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I have one called the Red Lion Inn, so I was like, wait, wait,
Wait a
wait, did
minute,
we
did
get the
we
same
fucking
one?
cross wires or cross paths here? Okay, so anyways, this little piece of Guthrie, Oklahoma history originated as a family home for the Huftons, but after the family hit hard times during an 8-year period, F.E. Houghton decided it was time to part with this 8,000-foot architectural attraction. And you know, I would too, given the 8 years him and his wife endured. The Huftons were a family of 14. That's right, them plus their 12 fucking
Jesus.
kids. Yeah, that shit's insane. It's like a more
You
fucked up
know,
cheaper
you
by
know,
the dozen.
they. What year was this?
Oh, fool, 1907. Or did I
1907.
say
Yeah, because they were using
1807?
these kids as free labor. That's why they. That's why motherfuckers had so many kids back then.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, we
like,
need
oh, we don't
more.
want to hire a hand. We need to just fucking have another kid and just make them shovel the shit in the barn.
Well, Penelope, we can't fuck because we have all these cows to tend to. I know, let's have more kids. They can get to milk them while I can milk you. Milk my prostate.
Or you can milk me.
Here, you can milk me. Milk my prostate, Penelope. They didn't call her fucking pruning prostate Penelope for no reason. Okay. Yeah. So it was like more like a more fucked up cheaper by the dozen because one of their kids, Augusta, Augusta. How do you say that name? Well,
Augustus.
it's a girl, I think. I think it's like Augustus without the S, unless I forgot to put the S. I don't know. They grew ill with whooping cough and died due to the nurse giving her the wrong medicine. I don't know how you get the
Idiot.
wrong medicine. I can picture this as a cheaper by the dozen film though. Steve Martin's Blue Chew is swapped with whooping cough medication.
Because they didn't label their things. They just put
They just
pictures of
put
it like
pictures.
skull and
They put
crossbones.
like it.
Not that one.
They had one and it was like a face with like breath coming out. So it's like, oh, this is whooping cough. This person's coughing, and really it was just mints for bad breath. Like, um. Oh yeah, I just wrote this down. It's like cheaper by the dozen. Like if they remade the movie, Steve Martin's Blue Chew gets swapped with whooping cough medication. His wife's like, "Effie, why can't you get it up?" I don't know, but my lungs sure feel good. It's fucked up. I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. Anyways, kids in the other room with the what is that? Oh wait, no kid. Okay, I don't know what the medicine they used for whooping cough was back in the day. Um, and I didn't even know it was like a fucking old timey disease. But back in the early 1900s, it was around and more properly known as pertussis. Uh, then and now is a highly contagious respiratory infection and is very dangerous for infants, which is why they make new parents get the vaccine before childbirth. It's spread much like our dear friend of the pod, tuberculosis, droplets from the mouth or nose, and yada yada. I thought that was yeah, it's got the same type of thing. So let's see if
You just need sunshine and positivity.
let's see if pertussis becomes the new TB for fucking pod this this year, or what's left of it, anyways. So after the Huftons, the beautiful Victorian mansion was converted into a funeral home in the 1920s. It served its community under the name of Smith's Funeral Home. During this time, it had featured your typical funeral home staples like spaces for viewing rooms, embalmings, and the basement was repurposed into a room for preparing bodies. This is one of the things that contributed to its modern reputation of being a haunted establishment. They keep some things on display even to this day from its time as a funeral home, like the original embalming table. Probably helps with the whole haunted pitch. I mean, that's kind of cool.
They kept the original embalming
Yeah,
table
it's
there.
on display, and I don't know if it's in the hallway. I seen pictures of it, but I mean,
That's
it's
cool.
kind of cool. Just looking at pictures of it, I'd like to stay there just to see some of its history or its haunted history too. Moving forward to the 1980s, not 1800s. That would make us go back in the past. Black. God damn it! Back when it was just a fucking blank land.
To move forward
To
in the
move
story,
forward,
first we must
we must
go
go
back.
back. On the native lands, it was stolen from Native Americans. Um, this Pertussis property turned death den was purchased by Becky Luker, who converted it into a bed and breakfast. Good old B&B. During the restoration of the mansion, Becky had claimed that paranormal activity was a brewing in her soon-to-be inn. During the ongoing renovations, she said that there were unexplained noises like footsteps coming from the back staircase early in the morning and doors opening and closing on their own. The police were called often because she was afraid it was intruders, but eventually realized that her visitors were actually astral in appearance rather than physical. Allegedly, Becky's son would put away his toys before bed and awaken to a messy room again in the morning. And you know what?
It just sounds
Yeah,
like
I
a
was gonna
kid getting
say
up out
my
of
kids
bed.
would probably use that same excuse. Hell, I'd probably use that.
It was a spooky ghost.
Like that seems like a fucking very poor excuse. I would.
How old is this kid again?
Oh,
Does
no,
it
it
state?
doesn't.
I was wondering if he was like he'd clean up and they threw him in a crib and he couldn't get out of the crib and then the room was fucked. That's what I was
They
wondering,
might
like
have
if he
said
was like
the
younger.
age of them, but I didn't write it down.
No, I'm gonna assume he was
That's the
3.
excuse I use. That I should have used that fucking excuse in that story I was talking about back in the tiny trailer I lived in. Uh, just get like caught making a mess in the bathroom. Just be like, oh shit, dude, it was a ghost that did this.
It's a
A
spooky
spooky ghost,
ghost.
ectoplasm. It was fucking um, so this phenomenon could be the work of Augustus ghost, who is said to still haunt the halls of the inn. Some have said, oh my god. Same is said about her father, Effie Houghton, who is said to be seen smoking his tobacco pipe throughout the house. Fun fact, Orville Hospital is said to have had similar hauntings, but with deceased patients slamming dirty needles from the red bins in the hospital rooms. I thought it was funny. Fuck you.
Gross.
For those of you that don't know, Orville has a meth issue. Okay, so that's why it's funny to me. But addictions are not funny, but kind of are. Okay, so I didn't find anything about his death being at the home, so I don't see why he'd be haunting it. Although it would make sense for a spirit to remain tied to an important piece of their living life, I guess, if you believe in such things. So, since its opening, and even now, there's been many guests who have made similar claims, and more guests have claimed to have had a childlike figure tuck them in at night. I hope it also didn't cough in their face. Because if it got
Here, good night.
oh god, oh god, I got it. I got the whooping cough.
That would be some shit, like some ghost is spreading some virus around.
Spreading pertussin everywhere. Some have complained about loud children jumping on beds even when children were not staying at the inn during the time of their visit. Which is time of their visits, which is funny because that reminds me when I was a fucking kid, we would stay at motels and we would stay in the car and have to be quiet because for some odd reason my mom's boyfriends would pull up to the front of the motel. They would say it's just me and one person, and there'd be 4 kids fucking silently in the back of the fucking car. Can you imagine people are just lying about how many people they have so they can get into one room or for a cheaper price?
Well, it's kind of it's kind of stupid how they like charge extra just because, especially if you have children. It's like I get if you have like fucking 10 adults staying
Yeah,
in the room, but
it's stupid. Um, a wooden ball could be heard rolling through the halls of this haunted inn, which I don't know how you can tell that sound specifically, honestly. Like a fucking wooden ball. You just imagine some fucking guy and his wife. It's like, Helen, you hear that? What, Billy? That creaking? Damn it, Helen, that ain't no creaking. That's a redwood. No, red oak ball. About 1.56 to 1.59 inches in diameter. I'm gonna go check it out. Helen, your mother told you not to marry a ball enthusiast. Why did I not listen to her? I don't know. Many guests have claimed to have heard children laughing or crying, which is sad, but not sad if they're happening at the same time. In my experience, that just means they need a nap. That or my kid's psychotic, but that's what they do. I mean, I'm pretty sure all kids do that. They fucking cry and then start laughing and cry when they're fucking so out of it, tired.
Yeah, my kid
Yeah.
does it.
So it wouldn't be a haunted inn if there weren't reported incidents of personal items moving on their own, like keys or jewelry being found in different areas from where they were put. The furniture is included in these mysterious movements as well. One man claimed that he was masturbating with something when something moved his tissues and was forced to ejaculate on his sheets, which was during one of his hematospermia flare ups, and that's why he will not be paying for the bloody semen soaked sheets. I'm just kidding. I made that story up. I thought it was funny at the time because
Yeah,
I am a I have been a frequent visitor of hematospermia, or if that made sense. I've inflared my urethra. It's not a urethra that gets inflamed. It's oh god, it's one of those other tubes that I don't bother to
the
remember.
seminal
I think
vesicle.
so. Yeah, you rupture that or something during sex.
That's well, the seminal vesicle is the one that I think that's the thing that flips that when
Oh
you pee or
wait. Never
jizz.
mind then. Yeah, no, I'm thinking of. I can't think of the thing. You rupture.
The vas deferens.
I don't fuck, dude. I don't remember. I remember these all sound familiar, but probably not in the case of this. I rupture mine
I don't
frequently.
know where.
Between that and I have a varicocele, so it's I'm just constantly having pain and blood nuts, and they're not related. They're two separate things. Neither of them are STDs. One is all right. So I mean, let's just get down to it. Because my my penis curves down, and I think I rupture it trying to make it straight. All right, so it causes the hematospermia. I don't know. The fucking urologist told me a different name for it. And then I have varicocele, which is when we're born, our men's nuts are like developing where their kidneys are or something. I don't remember, but as they fully develop, they slowly go down to where they are now. In some cases, this like tube thing, whatever the fuck it is, goes farther down. I'm probably butchering this. We're doing it wrong, but it goes a little slightly more down, and so it's either too much blood flow or not enough. I think it's too much blood flow is going down because one,
Too much
yeah,
sauce.
because one is dropped down lower. About 50% of people that have varicocele, it becomes a problem that affects them like really bad within their everyday life to where they can't stand up straight for long periods of time and everything. And from what my urologist said, if that's the case, they make an incision in your lower stomach and snip the cord, which is not a big deal. But also, it tends to work itself out in your 50s, which is like, I don't want to not.
So I got to deal with some bullshit for 20
Yeah,
years.
but he
Like,
told me if it became a whatever that he could snip that, or if I was an athlete, he kept pushing this. Like he thought I was an athlete or something because I think because I told him I lift shit when I'm lifting shit during the day. And it's like, no, it's my job. Can you not see my beer titties? It's obvious I'm not an athlete. um,
you,
so
sir, are in the finest shape I've
he
ever
said what they
seen.
can do before running or any athletic event. He could shoot me up with I forget what it is. It's just an ibuprofen. They did it when I was having back issues. It's like they say an ibuprofen on steroids. It's not steroids. It's just like a super ibuprofen that helps you relieve pain for a few hours or something. It's not very fucking strong. But yeah, so I just went on a whole thing about my nut problems. But yeah, it's something that affects men. It's just their nuts fucking fly down too far when they're born, and some people don't like. feel the symptoms until they're fucking like older. I'm only 32, soon to be 33, and I didn't start getting the issues until I was getting like 3 years ago, 4 years, like almost around when I turned 30. And then they're like, yeah, here in 20 years you'll be fine. But yeah, there have been noticeable drops in temperature by guests who claim they would have they would stumble into these cold spots and get a feeling of being watched by an unseen presence. Some have reported smelling old-fashioned perfume or flowers, which they have chalked up to as being the presence of spirits. But it's actually Mike when hit with the fancy 1920s edition KY jelly used to lubricate his willy as he strokes it to people in their rooms watching Hallmark Channel holiday specials. Nothing makes him orgasm harder than strangers with a dead look in their eyes as they watch a very merry mix-up on shitty hotel cable.
And that's why he's not
That's
on the
why he's on the
podcast today.
podcast because he's in this fucking hotel and he's jerking off to people watching Hallmark or
He
Lifetime.
says he's at work, but
Yeah,
he's
he's
putting in
putting
work is what he's doing.
he's putting in work on that fucking little mic meat of his. I'm just kidding. It's probably a decent size. He's getting attacked hard because he's not here right now. Some have seen shadowy figures that seem to disappear when approached. The before mentioned basement is allegedly the most haunted area in the establishment, with people claiming to have who have reported feeling uneasy, hearing strange noises, and sensing a presence in the basement. Which makes sense because that's where a lot of the bodies were rolled out to. So, outside of the hauntings, there are other fun attractions at the Stone Lion Inn. The most famous of these being their murder mystery weekends. Guest play roles. This is one of the reasons I also wanted to go there because this actually seems fun. I've always wanted to do a murder mystery. Guest play roles, follow clues, and try to solve a fictional murder like who killed Baron Bussy in the bathroom while reviewing a bumpkin. What separates the end's murder mysteries from others is that it actually,
Can you explain what a blumpkin is for the people who don't know?
if those of you uncultured swine who have never watched any Harold of King Kumar movie, a blumpkin. Did I say bumpkin instead of blumpkin? A blumpkin is when you get a blowjob while taking a shit. Fun fact, by the way,
Been
the
there.
guy that says that in the movie, and this is wild. Actually, I don't know if you knew this. The guy who got it's like, yeah, she's like my. It's like, yeah, she gave me a plumpkin. It's when you get your dick sucked while taking a shit. That guy is the fucking elf from the Santa Claus movies. Bernard, I think his name is from the Tim Allen Santa Claus
Really?
movie. That's him. Yeah, I swear to God, because Anna loves that movie. Watch it every year. One year, the second year we were watching it because I was drunk the first year. Second year we watched it, I'm looking at him. I was like, he looks familiar as fuck. And I looked it up, and he's the dude from Harold and Kumar that got the Blumpkin. And that's why
That's
Bernard aged,
hilarious.
because I'd age too if I got my if I was blasting out both holes. Oh man, they should make a white and brown song remix to black and yellow. What separates the Inn's murder mysteries from others is that it actually incorporates scenarios from the Inn's historical and ghostly elements, giving it a unique experience. Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
that's cool because it's like they can use elements that actually happen in the fucking the place. It just sounds like it'd be fun, honestly. Uh,
The 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 the, the coordinator's like, ma'am, can you please lay here? Just lay right here on the ground. Yeah, we're gonna pretend like you're dead right here. Yeah, so everybody, this is the actual spot where the person bled out.
died. Yeah, sometimes you could still smell the iron of the blood.
Ma'am, can you take a
You
whiff
take
of
a
the
whiff of the
floor?
floor, please?
It does smell like iron.
Lick it if you'd like to taste it. You really get in a character. Uh, the inn also provides ghost tours where they take ghosts to the most haunted parts of the property, sharing ghost stories and its history as a funeral home. The Stone Lion Inn also hosts themed dinners, which may or may not be a part of the murder mystery scene. It wasn't specific, and then the two things that I read said that it may or may not be a part of it. They were just listing, which is weird because you think you can find someone who had a good experience that listed what they did there. I don't know. The dinners are usually period themed with the period appropriate cuisine and decor, which also sound fucking awesome. But I don't know if it's true or not. Two, they also hold seances there. I didn't look into it.
I'm sure they do if they're doing like a whole ghost thing.
Yeah,
You know, I'm sure they get. I'm sure they
I
get like
I read that they still did, and then I also
a seancer. I don't know what you a
yeah,
medium.
and and then I also read that the person who first turned it into the bed and breakfast that she would hire people to do the seances there. So I didn't know if it was an
What a wild
ongoing
flip,
thing.
like funeral home to a fucking bed and
Yeah, it
breakfast.
went from a fucking regular home to a fucking funeral home to a fucking bed and breakfast. That's insane. Yeah, that's all I had on that one. But that sounds like it would be fun. I wish because if we were making money off of this shit, I wish that we were like fucking good enough money to be able to travel and do recordings at these fucking places because it would be cool.
Yeah,
While
it'd be
we
dope.
take notes and then explore shit, we could even do fucking videos of stuff. And arguably, we're a lot funnier in a visual form than we are audibly. Welcome to the Conspiracy Outpost, where we talk about haunted dining. 'Tis fun when you bring yourselves to these establishments. Yeah. Anyways.
Nice.
Anyway.
The next one on the list, the old Red Lion Inn. The one that I thought you were doing for a second. I was like, whoa, whoa,
We're gonna
wait.
go line to line.
Uh,
We're going pussy to pussy.
this one's in.
Rub those bitches together. Scissoring is what the kids call it.
Oh, Sesame
Scissor
Timbers.
me, scissor me timbers. Or maybe kids from the 1940s and up.
Um,
Ah, Becca didn't
so
want to
this one
fuck me.
happened.
Oh, why not? Ah, she must be scissoring or something. That's not why she didn't want to fuck me. She must be into women.
It's hilarious. Fucking whore. No. Uh,
She likes the she likes the mush muffs. Mush mush muffs, cram coochies.
she likes the cock if it's inverted.
Lick labias. What's a labia? I don't know. This is the 1920s. We don't know anything about men genitalia. Teachers only teach us that it's what penises look like and how they feel good. Even to women. That's probably some fun. They probably didn't teach sex ed back then. You think?
No, they probably just told you, hey, you gotta get married, fuck, have a kid, and hopefully your bride's not infertile or a whore.
When a man is aroused, he tells a woman she's getting it tonight, and she lays flat on her back and lifts her legs up, closes her eyes, and thinks about
Yeah,
Jesus until the men finishes in 1 to 1.5 minutes. In both go
yeah,
on
no,
their way.
women had it pretty rough back in the
They do.
day.
They still do, but not as rough as they used to have it. Still a little rough though. They definitely weren't
They
getting
like
it.
it
They
rough,
definitely
but
weren't getting it rough back then. Not in America.
yeah, they're see that's why women are more happy now. Now they get in the rough sex and they got more rights.
And they got heroes like
What what more could you ask
and,
for?
and they have heroes like wait, what's her name? Lululemons? Is that her name? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
Is that the actual person's name? The one with the those are the expensive ass like leggings and
Yeah,
stuff.
I learned it from a Bill Burr fucking stand-up special. I think that's who it is. She used to fuck Nazi soldiers and shit. And yeah,
For fun?
I I think it was in a means of maybe survival. I never looked deep into her history. That's an interesting thing. But he was his whole point was they want to cancel dead people, but they won't cancel her because she did some outlandish shit. But it could have been a means of survival. I don't know. She used to go to motel rooms and fuck Nazi soldiers. And now
Just
she,
seems like she has a type.
yeah, now her fucking climate destroying products are popular as fuck.
They won't cancel her because of that. Well, I guess they really cancel like Nike or Puma or whatever either. So they were all associated with Nazis.
I mean, how
I don't
many
know if
women
Nike
get
was, but Puma, I'm
canceled
pretty sure it was.
really, unless they say something that is just written down in stone? Like Roseanne Barr, is that the only white woman that gets canceled? And actually, not even really that. I
You
seen her
just,
on Kill Tony recently, and she was drunk as fuck. And she's been on there. I think she's been on there multiple times. I think she's been on Legion of Skanks podcast too. I don't really listen to that one as much. I've been getting into Kill Tony because the maintenance guy at my work was telling me about it, and I heard of it, but I didn't really know the premise. And I started seeing shorts of it, and then he told me I should watch it, and that shit is funny as fuck. I don't know if you're familiar with the podcast. So it's Tony Hitchcliffe, and
uh,
he basically he writes jokes for like roasts and shit like that. The jokes for like a lot of the people on there and shit. I think that's the whole thing. He's a he was on the Tom Brady roast too, but he's hella funny. So he has this podcast called Killed Tony. His name's Tony Hitchcliffe. Yeah, and what they do is these people they I think they watch interview tapes of all these different people that want to sign up for it. They put all their names in a hat. He randomly draws their name. They come up and do a 1 minute comedy set. And if they're funny, he interviews you after, like asks you about yourself and everything else. He does that regardless if you're good or bad. If you're bad, dude, they just fucking shit on you in front of the big audience, and it's like, oh my god, dude. If the audience doesn't laugh, they just fucking destroy you. And I feel bad sometimes because I can't be that ruthless. but but they always have celebrity guests on. Like they did one of their big shows. It's in Texas because that's where they live, Austin, Texas, I think it is. But they did one in California somewhere that I can't remember because my brain sucks. But they had Post Malone as one of the guests on there. Post Malone guest appears on there a lot, and that dude is like a genuinely nice human being, at least on camera. That he was just getting high on there. Like you could tell he was hella high and quiet most of the time. Like he said stuff here and there, but yeah, it's crazy and it's really funny. And they have people, and there's a lot of handicap comedians they get on there that are just up and coming too. But
oh, I think you told me about that.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
That sounds familiar. So I'm pretty sure you told me
I was
about that. They
showing.
like, I think you told me about a guy who had a stutter or something like that.
Yeah, they were making fun of. Yeah, there was a guy with the stutter. There was a mute guy who did all this stuff on a phone, and he was hella funny.
Yeah. I remember you telling. I think you talked about this on another podcast because I remember you telling about this,
Yeah,
or talked about it prior or
yeah,
something.
but yeah, it's hella funny. I mean, it's basically you
Or I
get to
think maybe
see.
Russell told me too.
Oh, Russell probably did.
Maybe it was
Yeah, because
Russell.
Russell talks about Cam Patterson, one of the guys who I seen his shorts before I knew what Kill Tony was.
I think
Actually,
both of you guys actually. I think when I was in California, Russell told me, and I think you told us about it on the
I don't know.
pod, or it's one or the other or
Yeah, I don't know
something.
if you've seen his shorts. So he's like talking about how he collects rocks, but he's not like fucking autistic or some shit like that. But yeah, no, it's a hella funny podcast, and if you just like seeing random comedians trying to like jumpstart their career and shit, it's pretty funny. But yeah,
That's cool. I'm gonna check it out.
Roseanne Barr was on of like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks maybe. I don't know. She was on there hella drunk, and she told the one girl not to laugh who was in a wheelchair. It's like I'll slap the shit out of you. It's like damn, and she's hella drunk, so it's like one of those. I think people are laughing because it's like she's drunk as fuck, but she's telling her how funny she is. And then I think she makes a fat joke to the comedian that was one of the guest stars, who I've never heard his comedy shit, but it was funny. Like, hey, she's legit funny as fuck, Roseanne Barr.
She says some fucked
She
up
does,
shit
yeah, she does,
sometimes.
yeah. And it's like, okay, you've gone too far, but I mean, I don't know. As a kid, I used to love watching Roseanne. It was one of my mom's favorite shows. And then they killed that bitch off. Changed the show to Meet the Connors or whatever. The Connors, that's what it was. Meet the Connors. the Connors, which is a
It's so
little
funny.
funny. But I don't know. She's funny as fuck. Just not when she, the blatant hateful shit. Obviously, is not okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're being funny, that's not funny. But I'm saying when she says funny shit, she's okay. But not when she's saying like blatantly hateful stuff. I don't think she's fucking actually like that. I think she thought something was funny and went too far because she was trying to get too edgy and then blame medication or was high on the medication or whatever the fuck and was just like in that kind of state where it's like, oh, you know what's funny? Edgy comedy. So she kind of pushed herself. I'll push myself to do raunchier jokes and then after I hear it written or read it written out or fucking hear it and one of the things I was
I'm
like,
gonna be right
this
back.
is too gross. This actually isn't funny. This is just gross. I was trying to be edgy.
But back to
Yeah,
it.
my bad. Or maybe I was
No,
gonna
you're
say, or
good.
maybe she was just being fucking completely hateful. Just thinking about it for a second, just think about what I said. I mean, maybe she was, or maybe she just fucking was like really on something and thought that maybe something would sound funnier if she got a little like fucking edgier with it, and it didn't fucking
Yeah.
land. And she's like, oh my god, and then like went over it again and was just, oh yeah, this was not okay to say. But I don't know. Anyway,
All right.
to the next topic.
So the old Red Lion Inn. This one is in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. It's known for its sighting of ghostly Victorian women and other eerie occurrences. So, dating back to the late 18th century, the Red Lion Inn Hotel has witnessed centuries of changing landscapes both in the surrounding and the spectral realm. It originally opened in 1773. This historic establishment has welcomed countless guests over the years, but some seem to have checked in permanently. It's like the Hotel California. This is
Let's do the Hotel
this is
California.
Yeah, this historic inn has been one of the most frequented in the Berkshires for generations upon generations. According to tradition, the the inn first appeared on the corners of Pine and Main Streets in downtown Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Legend has it that there's a ghost residents in the Red Lion Inn are former patrons who cannot bring themselves to leave. Even in death, room 301 in particular has gained a reputation as a paranormal epicenter of the hotel. Guests have reported mysterious whispers, flickering lights, and inexplicable feeling of being watched. Some even claim to have seen apparitions of figures in uh, Victorian period clothing. The Red Lion Inn, like other historic inns in Massachusetts, had connections to the Revolutionary War. Protests occurred at the Red Lion Inn in regards to the British Parliament Acts of Intolerance. Amid the build-up to the American Revolution, soldiers affiliated with the Continental Army even passed through the Red Lion Inn. Once the fighting had started, it hosted 5 different U.S. presidents, including Grover Cleveland, Theodore Roosevelt, and Calvin
They're gonna
Coolidge.
say Calvin Klein. I was like, I didn't know he was.
I don't know. He
I
was a
don't
president.
even. Calvin, yeah, dude, he was the first one to emancipate certain fabrics from others.
Uh, so some sightings that we have. Mr. Sergeant Norman. He's the most famous spectral resident of the Red Lion Inn. Sergeant Norman was a Revolutionary War soldier who met his untimely demise in the hand of his jealous lover. His spirit is said to roam the halls, occasionally making his presence known by moving objects or creating eerie sounds in the dead of night. There's also a ghost named Cheryl. Her report says that in April 2003 that she was awoken by someone standing over her bed. She glanced at the clock at 1:35 a.m. Cheryl ended up falling back asleep, and after the encounter with the entity in the sorry, I said ghost Cheryl. This is a guest. Okay, so guest said
There's a
this.
ghost
So let me
Cheryl who
start over.
grunts at alarm clocks or the clock at
There's a
certain time every night.
there was a guest named Cheryl, and this was she said. Okay, let me start over. This guest named Cheryl. Her report says that in April 2003, she was awoken by someone standing over her bed. She glanced at the clock. It was 1:35 a.m. Cheryl ended up falling back asleep after the encounter with the entity, and in the morning she noticed that her daughter had left them a message stating that a thunderstorm had knocked out the power line to their house, causing a dangerous spark of showers. And the time of that call was at 1:35 a.m. I don't
135.
know. Um, on the fourth floor, both cleaning staff and guests have seen a young ghostly girl carrying flowers and a man in a top hat.
Wait, she was seen
And
carrying ghostly flowers and carrying a man in a top hat?
no, no,
I'm
no.
just kidding. No, I know what you meant. I was
Oh,
just kidding. It's like she's carrying this guy with flowers and then carrying the guy, and he has his hands around her like how a man in those stereotypical things sweeps a woman into a room after they get married.
yeah.
Which I always thought was weird, by the way. Is that a real tradition that used to be a thing? Because how could you do that if you were like, say, a 165-pound man with a wife who's like 340 pounds?
She carries
She
you.
carries you. Or you gotta fucking put her in one of those little fucking red wagons that you carry kids in, and you just like pull it up to your room.
No, that's not heavy duty enough. You need a wheelbarrow.
This 165 pound man is actually like a fucking string bean, so he can't even use a wheelbarrow right. So he actually hires a fucking moving service. The two gentlemen in jumpsuits to fucking take a dolly and move her in there.
The guys walk in. Oh boy, good thing we brought two of us. This is definitely a team
Yeah.
lift.
Oh man, dude, that's about what 13 steps till you get upstairs. Yeah, we can't do that. Good thing we got two of us. And then they fucking bring her in sweating, and they're like, "Thanks," and they give him a tip. It's like, "Do you want us to install her real quick too?" No, I'm actually well adept in of fucking I don't know heavy appliances. Fuck, I don't know. I lost it. Oh fuck.
But this one I couldn't find too much information on. But they also say there's other uh, miscellaneous encounters at like cold spots, of course, throughout the inn, knocks on walled, disembodied voices, and unseen giggles. And then there's also a link to like a it's like a Yelp page that I have, and actually I'm gonna open that up real quick because it's people who write reviews about like their stay at the hotel, and one of them says, I used to work at the Red Lion Inn as a housekeeper, and I too believe the fourth floor is haunted. I would be up there by myself and would always feel like as though someone was watching me. There were talks among the housekeepers of ghosts. I also used to do turn down service and would catch myself running down the halls because I was scared.
What's turn down service?
I think it's like when you people stay over, maybe you just like fix their beds up, like replenish their shit.
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
really sure. I'm not hotel savvy, but
Oh, we don't have a hotel expert on hand right now. I used to
This one this one says the hotel's pretty well maintained, but also is haunted and it's a pretty scary experience. I did not get sleep at all.
I was just fucking up all night. It was definitely the ghost and not the fucking methamphetamine that I brought with me on my trip. The ghost also picked these sores on my face. I don't do that. Or pick my
this
stretch marks.
this person said I would like to first say the Red Lion Inn is both beautiful and historic. I'd highly recommend the inn for a relaxing weekend away. But the real reason why I'm here is to share is my ghostly encounter. I was not the only one to book the stay, so I had not read any of the. Oh, I was not the one who booked the stay, so I did not read any of the reviews prior to my trip. Before returning to our room for the night, my boyfriend and I decided we wanted to check out the other floors. Every inch of the inn features something antique and historic. We all wanted to feel like we saw it all. We are staying in the second floor, room 232. Upon arriving to the fourth floor to explore, I was immediately creeped out. I wouldn't let my boyfriend walk ahead or behind me. I felt uneasy and insisted he stay by my side. I don't typically scare easy, but there's something about this floor just gave me the chills. Upon returning to our cozy room, I was exhausted and had already forgotten about the eeriness of the fourth floor. In the middle of the night, I woke up in a dream and I was in the hotel bed, but there was a woman with long hair sitting beside
Oh,
me.
what are they gonna say? Sitting on top of me.
So that one, that one also didn't have a lot of information as well, unfortunately. But it was a. I already said that, but it was a nice little read though. It was cool, and it's cool that there's a bunch of reviews that you can literally just go read
That
online
people,
about people
yeah,
saying,
and actual
yeah,
people leaving. Like, because with a lot of these, you just have some guests have said this, some guests have said that. And then these are literal comments from the guests saying that they've
yes, and people who
and
have worked
people,
there
yeah, yeah,
too.
yeah, and
So
people that have actually been employed there. And I'm gonna tell you right
so
now,
it's just
if I was there for one night and I seen some weird shit, I'd be like, I'm gonna have to get a different job. And then if I couldn't find another job, I'm not going back there sober. You can catch me fucking re-up in a room on their fucking mint pillows or mints on their pillows and fucking doing shit. There's some
you're just drunk in the room. Hey, I
knocking on
told
the
you stop fucking with my blankets. Making my
get
job
out of here,
harder.
you fucking weirdo! Weirdo! It's like a dude in the a ghost in the like fucking corner just rubbing his nipples. I'm a weirdo. You're the one that came drunk to work. It's like get out of here, bitch! And he just disappears to the next room. God damn it! I fucking hate Nipple
He's
Ned.
like, ooh, I'll see you in the next room.
I see you in the next room. God damn it, Nipple Ned! It's just like hella pissed. That would be a great fucking mini series or even just like a funny comic. I've always wanted to make like a funny comic with like stuff, but a supernatural one would be hella funny where it's just like a fucking room attendant, whatever you would call them. Just going around fixing the rooms, and there's like ghosts that are just ridiculous in each room, like that. Like, damn it, Nipple Ned, get out of here! There was band-aids missing.
And
Yeah, Nipple Ned puts them on there. He chafes a lot. Or puts them on his nipples. He chafes a lot.
the next one we got is the Oxford Saloon. I don't know how to say this town's name. Snohomish, Washington, maybe Snohomish. That's how I'm gonna call it, Snohomish. But sorry if I'm wrong, Snohomish people. But I
Yeah,
don't live
also,
there.
it's like with that name,
Oh,
you sound like you guys want to be Amish but can't quite unplug completely. Like a little bit of electricity. Like, you still have to do all your chores outside manually, but you're allowed to watch fucking WWE on fucking like Sunday nights Raw or whatever the fuck it is.
so this one I liked. This one was pretty cool. It got some murder in it, some cool ghosts. So this one's haunted by former patrons and the spirit of a murdered police officer. So a quote from Craig Swanson, the owner of the Oxford Saloon, says, "There's not an employee that has worked here that does not have some type of unexplained phenomenon happen to him, ranging from, hearing footsteps to seeing glasses and furniture move to straight up seeing entities or feeling some kind of physical touch." So, since its construction in 1890, the building was located on First Street in Snohomish and has overseen various establishments leaving a dark past in its wake, including 10 deaths on its premise. Prostitution, gambling, drinking, and murder are just a few ways to describe the past and present life of the Oxford. Mr. Swanson has spent many late nights in the bar alone, and but sometimes he's not so sure he's really alone. Here's a quote from him. "It's an old wooden building, so it got a lot of movements, a lot of creaks, but overall, there's always the feeling that you're never alone in this place whatsoever." Staff members also agreed with Swanson's assertions. Some would experience ambient noises in the building that would uh, give them a sense of footsteps or doors opening and closing. And before he bought the bar in 2005, his family was unaware of the building's haunted history until after they took over. And another quote from him, he said, "I did not believe in ghosts before I purchased the bar, but people were talking about it being haunted and I definitely dismissed it right away. After being here for as long as I have, I feel like the building itself has energy to it.
First of all,
What were you gonna
oh
say though?
those ambient noises, whatever, in the morning were due to ambient at night. It's still tripping balls. That's all I had to say to that.
So a little history on the old Oxford Saloon. It was established in 1910. Shortly after the opening, the second floor was remodeled to make space for boarding rooms. Though it quickly became a whorehouse for the town's sex workers, the basement was used to host gambling and card games, and the saloon was more than just a place to drink. It was a place to have fun. Well, maybe a little too much fun. The building was split into three levels. The top floor was once a high-end brothel, consisting of multiple rooms for all the lonely men in Snohomish. The door to the stairways upstairs can be seen left off the main vestibule to the entrance of the ground and the entrance and then of the ground floor saloon, and the ground floor was Blackman's dry goods store, and the basement was a card room. Violence was a common theme at the Oxford. Bar fights, stabbings, shootings, you name it, probably went down there. It was a daily occurrence.
Damn.
Rumors have it that at least 10 people died in the saloon. The Oxford did keep a few bouncers as security, but they weren't guaranteed their safeties, like um, Henry, the police officer, the man that was murdered. But we'll get to him in a few minutes. Um, the brothel was operated by a woman known as Madame Kathleen. She met her demise in an upstairs bathtub. Multiple stories explain how she died, so I'm going to give you a few rundown because I don't know which one's the actual factual way she died or what. You want me to wait a sec?
Oh, what? Sorry.
I said, do you want me to hold
No,
on a
no, no.
sec?
You're fine. I was just trying to figure out what was.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So some say that she was decapitated in the tub by a resentful lover. Some say that she took her own life. Either way, the outcome was the same. Her body was found lifeless in her white claw tub. God, I can't fucking die. White claw foot bathtub in the bathroom at the
You
top
can
of the
say it.
staircase.
It
To
was
this
a
day,
giant bathtub that said White Claw across it, and she was White Claw wasted, and they decided to claw open her wrists and kill herself.
the tub today is in the exact same place upstairs. Maybe that's why her ghost still roams these haunted halls, wearing a purple dress with purple bows. You can see Kathleen for yourself in the main restaurant downstairs. She is the mannequin dressed in a purple dress and black hair suspended from the ceiling.
What a way to be immortalized.
I know. Another suspicious death was a woman who was supposedly forced into prostitution by Kathleen. Her name was Amelia. She was found with a broken neck in the closet of room number 6 upstairs. Her death was never solved. Was it murder? Was it suicide? Or was it the Clintons? Um,
What, the Clintons?
yeah.
Dude, can you? I wonder if the fucking hotel that David Carradine's body was found dead with the fucking belt around his neck and his dick in hand. That if they say that he haunts the fucking the hotel now or motel, whatever it is, and it's like, yeah, some say when they're in the room they can still hear dick smacking noises. I'm trying to watch Law and Order.
That's true.
Knock it off. God,
This is Special Victim Unit, you pervert.
Detective Finn, whatever his last name is, Ice-T's character. I can't hear his lisp over the smacking noises. God damn it. Man, this is obviously a homicide. I can't hear him over your lisp smacking noises. All right.
That shit's hella funny. An Oxford employee named Rebecca explained how back in 2019 a gentleman from England came to the restaurant to do an investigation on the haunted history. His mission was to find out why the ghosts were still around after all these years. He would ask the question and turn his audio recorder on to see if he can catch a response. While he was there, him and a group of people were filming a reenactment upstairs on multiple video cameras while Rebecca was on the main floor of the restaurant. She explained how the people upstairs heard a loud crash from the kitchen, came running downstairs to see if he was alright. They came running down and asked if I was okay. Oh, this is a quote. They came running down the stairs and asked if I was okay, and I was like, "Yeah, why?" Rebecca said. And then they said you were screaming, help me," I said. And I said no. And she's like, "Oh no, I wasn't screaming." But there was a woman that was screaming, so they went back to the video camera, and sure enough, you can hear a woman screaming, "Help me." They moved the they then moved into the bathroom where Kathleen was found, and they did not get many responses, but two men's voices came through prominently on the tape recorder talking about the woman who was pushed down the stairs. They said that she was pushed down the stairs and it wasn't suicide, it was murder. After that night of responses from these two voices, they concluded that Emilio was placed in the closet to look like a suicide. The story goes that Emilio was set to marry a man who did not want to be with her. Emilia, who was pregnant, was killed uh, in a murder for hire by a man named Edward, a local jazz musician. Rebecca said that the two men on the audio recorder kept mentioning that they should hide because Edward was there.
Were they a hitman turned jazz musician, both, or just a jazz musician? They're like, hey, you got a really good style there. Do you mind murdering her for me?
Hey, you play smooth. How's your murder game?
It's wait, what? It's like maybe you didn't understand me. You were really good on the sax. Will you kill her for me?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Strangle her, strangle her. You know, just a saxophagist or what?
The next ghost that we have is Henry the
Yeah, I
Cult.
was trying to say. Yeah, it seems like the killer was a jazz musician and strangled her. Whatever. It's like I guess he caved in her a saxophagus. I couldn't think of a fucking thing. Not esophagus, a saxophagus. I couldn't think. Okay.
She don't got no more wind instrument no more.
Let's just say that she. Yeah. What you said. I can't think of anything. It's early. It's early. It's almost 12.
Henry the Cop, though. Henry was a regular at the saloon that moonlighted as a bouncer. Although it was unconfirmed, one evening a fight broke out on the staircase between the main floor and the basement card room. When Henry attempted to break up the fight, he was brutally stabbed to death and fell down the stairs. Many of the encounters the patrons and staff have faced focus around Henry. According to the saloon website, he hangs out around the stairs leading to the basement and has been seen and felt many times by the ladies. Seen and felt many times in the ladies' restroom. Many women have reported being pinched by him. However, he disappears when confronted. One of the other shops next door to the saloon reported seeing Henry in their basement too. The people who rented the people who rented next door came over and said, "Your ghost Henry is out in our basement, and there's a shadow man following my daughter." So that's a cool one. We got another entity, the doorman. This story goes that Mr. Swanson remembers the most vividly from the basement back in 2007. And this is a quote, "I had a doorman, and I remember specifically one night in the basement around 3 a.m., and he was hanging out, having a soda or something upstairs. He was probably having a drink. He had to go back downstairs because he forgot something, and when he came back upstairs, he was shaking." Swanson said, "This guy was a big, tall guy, and he was absolutely shook. He said there was a guy sitting at the bar in the basement wearing a three-piece suit and had a hat on, and the doorman said, 'Hey, we're closed, you gotta go.' And the guy looked up the staircase, didn't say a word. By the time the doorman turned to look at the staircase again, the guy at the bar was totally gone."
That shit would have freaked me out. First of all, I don't know. Just seeing somebody like that would have freaked me out in a fucking basement.
There's the woman in black. Uh, this woman is seen wearing a black dress as described as a malevolent presence. And it was the last reported sighting that I could find was in October 2020, where she was wandering behind people up the stairs.
They told her she had to go.
We got the bowler hat man.
Ooh.
It's a ghost of a older gentleman wearing a bowler hat. He's been spotted hanging around the second floor. He was reportedly one of the former owners of the saloon named uh, Nelson
Mandela.
Peterson, and he owned and managed the bar from 1923 to 1938. Rumor has it that Nelson sold the bar to distance himself from the three murders, all of which happened during his tenure as owner.
Dude, could you
He
imagine
was also
that?
known to.
Like, it's like when you owned a place and three people were fucking murdered. And it's like, all right, dude, I don't know. It's just time to give this up. Apparently, murder. It's like I try to have this cool, chill, fucking laid back place where people could just fucking, you know, fucking just relax after work, and these motherfuckers just keep murking each other. I don't know.
Well, he was known to. His name actually might not have been Nelson, because I thought I just didn't spell his name out all the way, but it's Nels, so Nels maybe. But Nels was known to smoke cigars, and occasionally the guests will claim to smell a strong odor of cigar smoke in the air. He was also appeared in photos and taken in the bar at random, and these pictures are usually come out blurred or warped on the edges.
With random phallus
And then
shaped blurry images just flopping around.
guests have also claimed to have seen strange shadows moving around the building, which are said to be ghosts of numerous bar patrons who were killed in violent confrontations at the Oxford Saloon. And then, finally, Kathleen, the the whorehouse owner, well, like the person who ran the whorehouse. She's said to inhabit the second floor. She is seen as an older woman dressed in. Oh, I already said that, dressed in purple bows and flowers. Yeah, I already talked about her. So yeah, this one just has a lot of murders been going. You know, a lot of bar fights, murders, stabbings, shootings. Police officer was murdered there. Some girl was seems like got a hit put out on her from a. So I don't know. This place got a lot of crazy shit
The
going on in it.
saxophone, man, I like the thing. Dun, 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 dun.
He's just she comes in the room. She's like, "What's that noise coming from my room?" He's just sitting in like a swivel chair playing, doo, 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 doo. And he turns around and like blows hard, and it's like a dart shoots, fucking stabs her in the neck.
Could you fucking imagine? Because you know how Michael Myers with the fucking or wait, is that Jason? Which one has that?
I think that's
That is
Jason.
Jason. Oh no no no! You know what I'm thinking though is the Michael Myers one. The fucking, you know the tune I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I think I had it on one of the Animal Crossing games. I figured somebody made it and then I used it on a thing. I think it was Animal Crossing as the town song. Anyways, yeah, but it's a sax, the sax fucking man song, whatever that. I don't know the actual name of the song. You know that guy that went around just playing it? It's just that's playing lightly in the background. Just people are being murdered. All right. Anywho,
That was the end of
oh,
that one.
anyways, continue on. Uh, these are some good ones. I'm glad we strayed from fast food restaurants from the McDonald's from McDonald's that started it all because we have to start with their fucking McBullshit.
Because they make assholes.
Indeed, they are. Oh my god. Oh, that was a good ass pairing. Oh damn, you found it. Oh, it's trying to speed up. Sound like it did. Oh, dude, this was really good together. This 99 watermelon shot with mango passion fruit Celsius. It fucking was hella good.
Nice.
Damn.
All
Okay,
right, let's hear your last one, Joseph.
so this is the last one I have, which is Myrtle's Plantation. It sounds like an old
Goo!
fucking person saying there. Built in 1796 by General David Bradford, the plantation was originally called Laurel Grove and was Bradford's residence after he fled arrest due to his participation in the Whiskey Rebellion. For those of you that aren't familiar with the Whiskey Rebellion, it was a protest that took place during 1791 to 1794. The US government was broke as shit, as they usually are, and decided taxing whiskey would be the best way to pay off their debts. This tax hurt. Such a fucked up way to go about that. Everything's tax, at least in California. I'm not very versed with everything everywhere else. What sells tax? This tax hurt Western Pennsylvania farmers who made and sold whiskey. So naturally, these farmers were outraged and began attacking tax collectors. That's just, that's just hella funny to me. I just picture, go on, get. Something I wish we could do today, though. Like, or, at the very least, attack those who invented convenient fees on paying bills. That shit drives me nuts. These tax beatings got so out of hand that George Washington decided to round up 13,000 soldiers. My bad.
God damn.
Um, 13,000 soldiers to put an end to it. Um, so yeah, obviously, yeah, it put an end to the rebellion without, or this put an end to the rebellion without much of a fight. I'm sorry, my shit autocorrects from put to out sometimes, and I there's like 1,000 outs on here. Um, okay, and showed how the new government was strong enough to enforce its laws. Showed how easy we can be bullied into submission even in our country's early days. Is basically the way you sum that up too, or the way you can sum that up. That it could prove that our country could basically, bully us into the shit. It's like we're strong enough even back then to just be like, hey, this is what we're doing. You know that whiskey you're making? We got to tax the shit out of it, but it makes you
Oh,
feel
that's
good.
funny because that's like because they put when Prohibition was going on, it was from like what 1920 to
Mm-hmm.
33, and what's it called? The only reason why they ended it is because the Great Depression hit, and then
Yeah.
they yeah, Roosevelt's like, oh well, maybe we could actually earn some money if we start
Yeah. On the
selling
shit that makes
alcohol to
people
people.
fucking feel
So
good because it's like you're already fucking back breaking shit. I mean, it's not a healthy fucking
so
habit, but no habit is fucking healthy.
yeah, so after the 13 years of prohibition, they ended it during the Great Depression just so the government can make more money, even though the people were still, struggling. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you start giving people alcohol, they just don't. They're certain people are just going to spend that over, trying to provide for their family. Like, yeah, like oh, as long as I can get my 6 pack, you guys can eat shit.
There are a lot of fucking people that choose
I mean,
out.
I agree with the overturn of prohibition. I don't think it ever should have been a
Yeah, I
thing, but
think people in general should have had I mean, people need more self control when it comes to shit. I don't believe you should just strip away people's rights to do shit, but also I can see like how many alcoholic people choose alcohol over their own family's needs. And but yeah, so you might be wondering what David Bradford's role was in this conflict. Well, Bradford, or also known as Whiskey Dave, was a prominent figure in the rebellion, organizing protests. Oh fuck. Organizing protests and resistance efforts. This motherfucker helped organize and strategize against tax collectors. Like this, he just like he was some kind of strategical fucking whatever for it. He used fucking intimidation and violence to resist the enforcement of the tax law. I just picture this guy showing up in groups, just mobbing.
tax me, I'm gonna
Yeah,
fucking kill you.
like I picture him just fucking showing up with these fat ass groups and just mobbing on tax collectors. Like they're just like, there they are, get them. Oh fuck. um,
He like the Warriors. Just
Yeah. Eventually, he was pardoned by the president in 1799 and stayed in Louisiana, where he continued his involvement with politics and local affairs. His role in the Whiskey Rebellion actually helped shape early American attitudes towards taxation, federal authority, and the balance of power between government and citizens. So, I mean, there was a little good shit in it, although he was a piece of shit nonetheless. But um, Whiskey Dave built the plantation in 1796. That's in St. Francisville, Louisiana. And like I was saying, plantation makes him a piece of shit. I mean, he's owning people. It's a piece of shit move. Uh, he originally gained the land grant from Spain in 1792. He purchased 600 acres of land and built an 8-room home near Baton Rouge or Baton Rouge, Baton,
it's Baton
Baton
Rouge.
Rouge, that he named Laurel Grove. He actually lived there alone until 1799 because before that,
I only know the name, how to pronounce that because of a country song.
oh, okay, until
It's called Baton Rouge.
he lived there. He lived there on his own until 1799 until he got the pardon. So he got the plantations. He built the plantation in 1796. Lived there 3 years alone until he was pardoned. Um,
Nice.
then went back to Pennsylvania to fetch his wife and 5 kids. I guess it should have been mentioned before, but the pardon didn't come just willy nilly. He actually got the pardon because he assisted in the establishment of a boundary line between Spain and the United States, historically known as Ellicott's Line. So Spain earned some of the territory or owned some of the territories in the early America. I don't remember U.S. history too well. I'm not the smartest individual
Yeah,
you would think.
I'm not super savvy on the ancient. Not ancient
Yeah, and
history,
this is where
but
Mike would have came in because Mike
American
would have been,
history.
yeah, actually I know that because one of my relatives with the background I'm not going to tell you guys about because I'm not comfortable was actually molested by a Spanish guy back in one of the properties, whatever, and they established the first non-rape laws there. No, I'm just kidding. Mike does know a lot of little tidbits of shit, mainly about
Yeah, I'd have to.
culinary and survival. If we were ever on Naked and Afraid, we would only have to deal with the afraid part, or we would only not naked. Well, yeah, naked and afraid. I mean, we'd only have to be afraid about the. We'd only have the afraid aspect. I guess the naked would too. Like Mike would help us survive because he knows how to survive, but also, yeah, being naked and afraid is the problem because he would molest us. He-
He'd look like a woodman just coming out.
no, I'll keep you warm with my beard. You don't gotta keep my fucking cock warm with your mouth. So,
But it's
but
nice.
it is nice. Never mind. Keep doing it. So, God damn it. Uh, so yeah, he brought them back, lived comfortably, and Whiskey Dave even took in students seeking education in law. That's right, a whiskey tax stopper was a law teacher, and they wanted us to go into debt just to study their silly rules. Because yeah, because once upon a time, your brother wanted to be a lawyer too, and they want to put you in
That
fucking.
guy's been like 50 professions.
He has. And he's doing really well for himself. But I mean, originally he wanted to be a lawyer. I think when we were kids. Um,
Lawyer, Senate,
and nowadays they want you to fucking go
fucking.
into debt. But meanwhile, this fucking whiskey rebellion guy just fucking was teaching people on his plantation. One of these students, Clark Woodruff, gained not only a law degree from who is now known as Judge David Bradford. Don't ask me how his name changed, or don't ask me how he became a lawyer, how his name changed, or how he became a judge. I didn't look it up. All right. God damn, dude, I can't talk. He also gained his daughter's hand in marriage. He gained Judge David Bradford, old whiskey fucking uh, Dave's daughter's hand in marriage. All right, is what I meant to
Okay,
say.
that made more. I
Yeah,
thought you were
that
just
he
saying
married
like
his
he
daughter. I know
got
I said
like
that hella weird. That's why I was
yeah.
trying to correct it. Sarah,
I was like, I want to put it past back in the day, you know.
her name was Sarah Matilda Bradford. All right. They were the ones that changed the name from Laurel Grove to Myrtle's Plantation. is what it said. Possibly because creep myrtle trees, creep, crepe, crepe, creep, myrtle trees that were they grew all throughout
Crepe.
the property, so they renamed it the Myrtles Plantation. Um, I guess is what the rumor is, or what it said in there, but it wasn't. It was kind of vague. I don't know. So fast forward to after Whiskey Dave's death, Clark would be entrusted to manage the property for his mother-in-law, expanding the plantation and planted about 650 acres of indigo and cotton. And by him, I mean not him, but the slaves on the plantation. As we all know, wealthy pieces of shit owned human beings. It's in our history. Um,
Look it up.
look it up if you haven't obviously learned about it. Specifically, black human beings that they use in unbelievably cruel labor, gaining from their hardships. That was a given. After all, we know what happened on there in those horrible conditions. Unimaginable things belong for unimaginable things like forced labor, physical abuse, family separations, and sexual exploitation, and many, many more physical and psychological traumas. Dark part in our history. Matter of fact, the house itself was actually more than likely built by slave hands. Uh, I just didn't want to give too much credit to it because they keep getting all this. Everything that I read about them, it's like they managed all this stuff and they did this, they planted that and this, but they had all these slaves there. So, yeah, it was just it's like they didn't do any of it. They purchased with their money people that worked for free and was yeah. We already know that. Let's get off the that. Okay, so these pieces of human fecal matter had three children. Matilda would die in 1823 from the yellow fever. Something Matthew is actually an expert of. If he was here, he'd let us know. uh, for those of you that don't know Matthew, he is indeed married to an Asian woman. So that was a bit of a bit of a tongue-in-cheek racist joke. In 1824, his only son of the three children would also fall from yellow fever. 2 months later, another one of his children would die from the epidemic that was rapidly spreading throughout the state at the time. Still, though, Clark and his last living spawn would continue to run the plantation until 1830, when his mother in law finally croaked. He decided to turn his attention to law work and left the plantation in the hands of a caretaker as he and his daughter moved away. He has a whole rich filled history that I honestly didn't give a fuck to look into because fuck them all. I'm not going to look into anything outside the plantation in question. In 1834, another piece of shit by the name of Rufin Gray Sterling purchased the property. I say a piece of shit because he comes from a wealthy family that owned many plantations on both sides of the Mississippi River. They took over not only the property, but all slaves on said property. They decided the property didn't live up to their standards of living, so they remodeled the place with all sorts of bullshit and officially renamed the property to Myrtles. That's why I was confused. Like the rumor that they were the ones that renamed it Myrtles. Maybe it was like nicknamed it up until this point, and they were just like, might as well rename it to Myrtles because all the trees. I don't know. Um, it yeah. So the estate was left to his wife. Hold on, real quick. The estate was left to his wife, Mary Cobb, who was said to have had the business. This is quote in quotes. This was like actually whatever was said, not me. So, anyways, it's quoted to have been said that she had the business acumen of a man. Is that how you say acumen? 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 I don't know. Yeah, I mean that was a compliment back then because apparently a woman couldn't be a good businessman without being compared to a man. She was a thriving business, whatever for her family, and God damn it, I can't think straight. So, sorry. Okay, so yeah, her her life was getting shittier. Basically, out of her 9 children, only 4 of them lived long enough to be married. The oldest son actually died the same year as the dad did. Their daughter Sarah Mulford's husband was murdered on the front porch of the house after the Civil War. They were on the wrong side of history, so serves them right. They're on the Confederate side. I guess the war took a toll on the whole family. Material wise, that is. Union soldiers looted and destroyed their family heirlooms. Most of their fortune was in useless Confederate currency, and what wasn't was poorly invested in sugar plantations, which were ransacked and destroyed as they deserved to be. So yeah, they were. Even through it all, she managed to keep the property until her death in 1880. She gave her daughter Sarah and her husband William the property. After losing the property due to bankruptcy in 1867, they somehow regained it in 1868. Um, and her husband, oh my God, I'm jumping back. Kids in the background are distracting me. Can't hear my own thoughts here. Uh, so after losing the okay, I already said that. I'm just gonna say it again. After losing the property due to bankruptcy in 1867, they somehow regained it in 1868, and her and another death came knocking on these Confederate cunts' door just 3 years later. Well, more called out than anything. Old William stating that they had. Old Willie was teaching some Sunday school type lessons when he heard someone approach via horseback. This horseback individual called out to William, stating that they had business and it needed. They had business that needed attending. Well, the Confederate guy went out to the side of their house and was shot. I'm scrambling my words. All I can hear is kids screaming in the bathroom. He dropped like dog shit on the porch and died. Basically, there. All right. Everyone inside the house heard gunshots and horse hooves galloping away before rushing out to find him limper than Stephen Hawking's dick watching regular-sized people solving equations. Or just as limp as his dick is in general. Matter of fact, limper than Christopher Reeve's dick after he hung up his Superman cape and decided to take on the role of Carter Slade's Ghost Rider. Get it? Because he rode a horse? I don't know. That's a little fucked up, kind of a stretch. Uh, anyway,
A horse road, Mr. Hands.
damn it. Should have went with Mr. Hands joke. Newspapers stated that E.S. Weber was to stand trial for Winter's murder, but the trial was never recorded. Sarah died at 44. Property went over to her son, who then sold it to Orrin D. Brooks, which eventually left his hands and went into Harrison Milton Williams, another piece of shit Confederate cavalry courier. His oldest son died during a storm trying to gather up cattle and fell into the Mississippi River. So his son died on the property, fell into the Mississippi, trying to gather up
Damn.
cattle, which is kind of fucked up but kind of funny. After the incident, Harrison gave up the property to his son, Sergei Minor Williams. The 1950s rolled around and property was split up amongst, we'll speed up, 1950s rolled around and was split up amongst the Williams lineage, and the house itself was sold to Marjorie Munson. This was when the ghost stories began to flourish. The house was owned by many others until the 1970s when James and Frances Kermie Myers took over and turned the old plantation house into a bed and breakfast. Another bed and breakfast.
Woo.
It is now owned by John and Tita Moss, who continue to keep it open for visitors. I believe it's still an open bed and breakfast. I'm not entirely sure. I seen a post from Kayak saying that the cheapest price of room at the Myrtles was booked for $204, while the most expensive was $358. So I assume I don't know how many years ago that was, but I assume it's still open for business. $204 might be bad if we went 4 ways. We can hit that bitch like $51 a piece for the cheapest room
Yeah, that'd be cool.
for the podcast. There's been a lot of ghost stories, as I was saying before, sparked since the 1950s, probably earlier than that, but didn't see any um, like reference. One of the most popular ones is the story of Chloe. It was Chloe, not Zoe. It rhymed with Zoe, who we were talking about before. Uh,
Oh,
so Chloe was a slave on Myrtle's plantation. The stories go that she was a slave in the early 19th century that was either a house servant or Clark Woodruff's mistress. Either way, the legend says that Chloe was caught eavesdropping on the family one day, so Clark, in a fit of rage, punished her by cutting off her ear. She then would sport a green turban to hide her wound. Cultural
damn.
appropriation. I'm just kidding. She decided to get her revenge by lacing a birthday cake with poison, attempting to kill the kids.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
that's fair. Ear for a family. A plantation family. I feel like that's fine. Fair trade.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, any motherfucker that cuts your ear off,
Kill their whole lineage.
they
Fuck them.
deserve to die. Yeah.
Attempting to kill the kids with the poison, but the poison would successfully kill off Sarah and two of her kids. So
Yeah,
yeah,
backfired on her.
yeah. I mean, it killed some of it. It didn't kill. I don't think it killed all intended. Is what it was. Uh, Damn, dude, that was really shitty and perfect timing. My kid's in the bathroom. She went, eh. uh, this made the other slaves on the plantation fear they would get the backlash from the murders and decided to hang Chloe themselves and throw her lifeless body into the Mississippi River. Um, Very urban legend like in nature. Really, there's no proof that she actually existed. So I don't want. I just want to get that out of the way because it's saying that these other slaves hung her and threw her like she was some kind of fucking evil presence when she had every right to act out. I mean, killing children in general is a fucked up thing, but also when you spent your life in those kind of fucked up conditions, everything seems primal to me. I probably would have burned the whole fucking house
Yeah.
down. Guests claim to have seen a ghostly apparition wearing a green turban both in the house and outside on the property. There are some photos that allegedly prove her existence, though I did not look at any of these photos. Despite these alleged sightings, though, like I was saying, she may not even have existed. Like, there are no records of her, but the story still plays a huge part in the plantation's popularity today.
Honestly, would you really keep records of
Yeah, no,
slaves?
that's the
Like,
thing. It's like
I'm sure they had like a book to keep like an
yeah,
attendance,
but by
thing to make sure
name
everyone was
doesn't
there. But
seem it was more of a property thing. I don't know how accurate records were
yeah,
kept like on slaves. They could have been like three females, uh, two male or something. Like I don't see them keeping track of them by name. They treated them like property or like fucking livestock animals.
yeah. Remember that? Well, because I sent you guys that old timey like newspaper thing, like that ad that
Yeah,
was put out, and it's like, oh yeah, I got like 5 good. Uh, I got 10 men. They know how to do hoeing, fucking throwing,
yeah,
it's just like it was like like what a device would do,
yeah. They
these days.
treated
Like if
them.
you're reading like what a weed eater would do, like that's how
Yeah,
they were talking about these
I got
people.
a good plow and a good fucking cooker. Like it's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, these stories are passed down, dare I say, orally for generations, much like a well memorized urban legend. They capitalize on these ghost stories by offering ghost tours on the grounds. Guess I think exploiting a possible tragic slave story for profit is good for business. I mean, that just sounds like America. Favorite
Yeah.
favorite pastime. Whether she existed or not, she continues to be an important part of the plantation's ghost gimmick, and is even one of America's most famous ghost figures in our U.S. folklore type shit. Uh, Guests have also claimed to hear children's laughter and have seen their spirits playing on the plantation's grounds. This may tie into the Chloe story, as it is popularly believed to be the spirits of children she killed. I mean, that's a little.
Damn.
uh, if not that, then maybe the people of. If not that, then the ghosts of some of the other kids who have died on the property. Who knows? Like, honestly, there have been multiple children that supposedly died there. I guess people have also witnessed Willie Winter's whimpering ass too. Guests have claimed to have seen him haunting the grounds, seeing and hearing him move about. I want to go just to yell outside the house that I like have business with him or something. You know, just see if he can just see if he can trigger a ghost. It's like, hey, we have business together. Fucking kill him on the porch all over again. The Myrtles also have a fame. The Myrtles also have a famous mirror.
I'm listening. I'll be right
Okay.
back, though.
They also have a famous mirror that apparently shows unexplainable handprints, believed to be that of Sarah Woodruff and her children. But I like to believe it's just hers when her husband used to give her that rough wood. I don't know. I thought that was funny, but you're not in the room anymore. Um, we got your average haunted tropes like unexplained footsteps, cold spots, doors slamming shut on their own, and feelings of being watched or touched by unseen entities, which an unseen entity would. Uh, that is not. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So there have been sightings of Confederate soldier spirits on the premise, but I've already seen alive inbreds. I don't care to see transparent ones. That's all I got for that.
Oh, okay. I didn't leave the room yet. I was about
Oh,
to
I
go to
wasn't
someone's
even
in the
looking over
bathroom.
there. You said you were leaving, so I was like, oh, he's not even in the room. I was gonna say it, but I was like, it's not that funny by myself. I was like, when they said they seen they had feelings of being watched or touched by unseen entities. I was gonna say, wish an unseen entity would touch me, but I thought you were out of the room, so I was like, never mind. I don't
Shit's
know.
hella funny. All right, so the last one we got for our Phantom Plates is Captain Tony's Saloon. So this one happened in Key West, Florida, and it's known for its resident spirits and spooky atmosphere. It has an intriguing past, one that includes murder, mystery, and a little bit of mayhem. Before becoming a popular watering hole, the building served as a ice house, a city morgue, a wireless telegraph station, a cigar factory, a speakeasy, and even a bordello. Do you know what a speakeasy is?
Don't.
I didn't know what it was either. It's an illicit establishment that sold alcoholic beverages, basically a bar, and a bordello is a whorehouse.
Wait,
But
what's a whorehouse?
a bordello
Oh, a bordello. Damn, what a weird name for a
or
whorehouse.
bordello, however you say it, bordello or something like that. But its original name, uh, it was also the original home of the Sloppy Joe bar.
Ooh, now you
So
have me
in
intrigued.
18
Did they sell sloppy joes?
and I hope they did.
Or did they get sloppy
It,
dome from a man named Joseph?
what's it called? What's called in 1865, a hurricane hit the Florida Keys, and the water came crashing into the city, smashing nearly everything in its wake. At the time, this building was a city morgue, and it was uh, it was hit with the devastation as well. Many of the corpses that were awaiting a burial or autopsy washed away, except for one, and the one body that was recovered was laying out front of the building and was later buried beneath the building, surrounded by holy water and enclosed by a wall where the pool room is these today. So they just got a dead body behind buried
Didn't
there.
bother to move it, or it's just
I
in
don't
the.
know. I don't know why they surrounded it with holy water and everything too, just because it was just sitting on the front porch. So maybe they thought it was demonic
Instead
or
of
something, or like.
yeah. uh,
But in 1890, the building housed a wireless telegraph station, and during the Spanish-American War in 1898, it was from this building that the news of the destruction of the battleship Maine was sent around the world. In 1912, it became a cigar factory and later a whorehouse. At some point, it was a bar that encouraged patrons from the Navy until the Navy declared it off limits. It later became several speakeasies, the last of which was called the Blind Pig, specializing in gambling and women and bootleg rum. Dun dun dun.
dun dun dun.
During Prohibition, Josie, Sloppy Joe Russell, a local entrepreneur and one of Hemingway's cronies, took a lease out on the place with hopes that the drinking ban was coming to an end. And sure enough, in 1933, Sloppy Joe Bar was open, and it was here that Ernest Hemingway spent many of his evenings from 1933 to 1937. And in 1938, the building's landlords raised the rent by $1 a week, and Russell, the owner, was pissed and he retaliated. He marched up the street and secured a lease for 201 Duval Street, where the Sloppy Joe's bar still stands today. The story goes that the bar patrons picked up their stools, their cocktails, and the liquor bottles and walked a few steps across to Duval Street to the new Sloppy Joe location. And legend says not even one drop of liquor was spilt.
Damn.
uh, Hemingway claimed ownership of one of the men's urinals, saying that he had paid a fortune to water it over the years. He moved the urinal to his home a few blocks away on Whitestead Street. He won an argument with his wife Pauline to keep the souvenir. The urinal is can be currently found at his permanent uh where his permanent housing location. He was using as a fountain for his pterodactyl cats who ancestors still live on the grounds today. And those are cats with six
Mm.
digits. I have one of them.
And by you have one, it
So
means
that's just
you mean you sewed another finger to one so you could be one of those cool guys. Hold still, man. I'm trying to give you a six-fingered paw.
so that's just a little history in the background. It's cool that Hemingway was a part of this place too.
Yeah.
Um, so we got some sightings right here. We got the Lady in Blue. Uh, when the pub started to expand, there was a they built around a tree that was used for hangings, and many people
Oh,
were lynched
that's
from
cool
this
that
tree.
people just hang around that area.
and, and then many people were hung from this tree, including a woman who murdered her two sons and husband. She was immediately hung in the blue dress that she was covered in. So she killed her family, and they immediately hung her, but in her blue dress that was covered in all her victims' bloods. And many say that she is the first ghost to inhabit Captain Tony's, and she's been seen so many times. She's referred to as the Lady in Blue.
Damn. What was her name?
Uh, uh, did I say it? I don't know if I did.
When was she born? No, I'm just kidding. No, I just want to know because if her name was Mary, I'd be like, Bloody
No,
Mary. I
no.
know
See,
that's
I was thinking Mary
yeah.
too, but that
I
I
think
didn't write a
anytime a
name. I
woman's
don't think
covered
there's
in
a name.
blood as a ghostly figure, we think of Bloody Mary.
The next one
Why's it gotta be the
is
boogeyman? Why can't it be the boogie woman? Why can't it be the boogie they?
Alvera's Alvera's grave. During the building's construction, while removing old flooring, workers discovered skeletal remains of several people and a grave marker of a woman named Elvera. It is believed that these may very well be the same missing bodies that were lost after the hurricane.
I thought hurricane season was over.
In the
Wow.
women's restroom, events surround this area where patrons have reported various mysterious occurrences. One woman reported that she tried to go inside the first stall, but it was locked. When she went into the second stall, she noticed that no one was in the first. Before leaving the bar that evening, she went back in only to find the first stall still locked. Before she knew what was happening, the outside of the restroom door opened and closed, although no one can be seen. When she went when she went back into the stall, she heard the door of the first stall unlock and slam. Alarmed, she jumped up to see what was happening, and still no one was in sight. And the first stall was locked yet
And there
again.
was a floater sitting there.
There was another gravestone found in the floor, and this one had the name Reba Sawyer on it. She lived from 1900 to 1950. And when she died, apparently her husband found some very scandalous letters between her and her lover.
Ooh.
The letters described their feelings for their feelings for each other and some sexy thrice uh, that they had. They always met. They would always meet at Captain Tony's to begin their time
I thought
together.
you said
The
they always nut or they almost nut like they almost nutted somewhere when you stopped there for a minute. They would always nut down by the old pecan trees.
the they would meet at Captain Tony's to begin their time together. So the husband was so pissed off that he took his wife's coffin, dug a hole for it under the tree of the bar, and said, "This is where she wanted to be, so this is where she'll stay."
Damn. If this is where the whore wanted to be, then this is where the whore will stay.
there's
Old
a
crusted cooter.
there's also a story about a beautiful young woman, and this story follows her into the bar when it was a speakeasy. She was concerned that evening about where her husband was, so she went to find him. She had her baby with her and decided to check for him at the speakeasy. She found him, and when she did, he was drunk and kissing another woman.
Damn.
When she saw this, she instantly went mad, ran into the woman's restroom, and killed the
Oof.
baby. She left it there and ran out, and no one knows what happened
She
to the
leave it on the
woman.
changing table?
I'm assuming like in a toilet
Yeah,
or
no, I was
something,
just
like
kidding.
because I'm like drowned it in the sink,
Probably,
maybe I don't know.
yeah, probably drowned it in the toilet or sink, and then probably just either left it there or toss it in the garbage. I just like to think the nastiest things imaginable happen at changing tables, so it makes baby was killed on one. That's why I don't use them. Babies be killed on
Yeah, it's a sacrifice table, if you will.
them. It is actually the original. It's the equivalent to an embalming table for children. I guess it's
A
not the
man
equivalent.
named
Never mind. Continue
could
on.
be
Continue forth.
uh,
I mean, they definitely bomb
a
their
man named
diapers on those things. I don't use them because I know people don't clean them very well on somebody else's.
well, you're supposed to lay down. You're supposed to lay down your liner,
Yeah, I know, but
like your diaper
I
bag
don't
or
know.
anything.
Fucking, I know you're supposed to
But it
lay
is
down a
gross.
thing, like lay it down first, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, to me, because I'm a big ass germaphobe, it's like laying down toilet paper on a fucking toilet seat. It's not
Toilet
thick
seat.
enough. I'm really fucking, yeah. Everything seems like domino germs when it comes to public shit to me. Like nothing's thick enough, unless it's like a sheet of metal. Just fucking roll out a sheet of metal and change a kid in the bathroom.
this this man named Joe Farber. One night alone around 4 a.m., Joe heard a voice calling out to him. He got up from his desk to investigate, but he saw that no one was there. He walked to the back of the bar and noticed the back doors were wide open, even though he locked them hours before. Unable to explain the voice he heard, he simply brushed it off until a few years later he heard the same voice calling out to him again. This time the voice said, "Don't leave." Joe ran back. Joe ran back to check uh, through the bar, so he went home hours later around 6 a.m. Joe got a call from the police saying he found a body of a young teenage girl in front of the bar. It seems she called her mother just after overdosing on pills to commit suicide. Her mother called the police and later they found her body in front of the Captain Tony's. Joe believes that the voice was telling him to stay, that he might have been able to save the girl's life.
Damn, didn't listen to the fucking ghost voice.
Some other eerie occurrences. Many of the bar patrons have described similar strange experience. Cold spots in the hallways near the ladies' restroom, doors opening and closing without anyone around, stalls locked with nobody inside. And then we got a little history on the hanging tree
Ooh.
that's in the middle of the bar.
It actually had the tree
So,
had a drug problem as an early sapling, and then it grew up hard and eventually found its way to becoming a hanging tree.
so this story is a weird one. A visitor to the bar said that they went to go check out the hanging tree a little closer. After having a few drinks with some friends, one of the man's friends dared him to climb up the tree. It just seemed absurd at the time, but the beers and the shots kept flowing. He was thinking more and more about climbing the tree. The instant that he touched the hanging tree, his hands began to burn. Then he felt as if they were sizzling. When he took his hands off the tree, they were incredibly burned. He had to go to the emergency room in order to make the pain stop. It was a huge surprise to the doctors that the man ended up with third-degree burns just from touching the tree.
Turns out the tree had syphilis.
And the large tree growing through the center of the bar is known as the hanging tree. It's rumored that 18 people were hanged there, all but one for piracy. The one exception was the woman who killed her
Yeah.
husband and two sons and left their bodies in the yard. A neighbor saw the horrifying scene, sent the police to the home. The woman was found wearing a blood-soaked blue dress and taken to the tree immediate for hanging. She was there. She was known as the Lady in Blue after that. Uh, many people have taken photos of her. Blue specters in the bar. They say that they prove that the Lady in Blue still hunts the
Yes.
building
Yeah.
today. But yeah, that was it for that one. A little quick, cool one.
It was a nice little bit.
Not too shabby.
I kind of do wish we had a little more on fast food restaurants, just because it's funny. I was hoping there was
Yeah,
some with fast food cryptids, like cryptids being
that'd be
spotted in
cool.
fast food places. Like you just mind your own business at a fucking Taco Bell. Fucking
And here comes
yeah.
Sasquatch.
You feel that flush of fucking diarrhea from their fucking food. And the bathroom's fucking locked. It's out of order. You rush outside the shit behind a tree, and fucking Bigfoot walks by.
Well, that's it for old Phantom Plates Part 2.
Yeah.